Ooh, you got me just so crazy over you. We love Madonna, we love Madonna, we love Madonna, we love Madonna.
Hi, this is Maxi Shield, and you're listening to MLVC, the Madonna podcast.
Hey guys, it's Tony, and to all of our listeners, you are my sanctuary.
And hey everybody, this is Stefan. Thanks for joining us for another episode of MLVC, the Madonna podcast, your place for all things Madonna, Louise, Veronica Ciccone. As you just heard, we are joined today by Maxi Shield. Welcome, Maxi.
Welcome.
Hi. Hello
excited.
from Australia.
Oh, we're
I know
so excited to talk to you.
you're calling us from Australia, and I'm the one with the shitty Wi-Fi. You'd think.
I know. Maxi's coming out clear as a bell. So.
No. Yeah. How are things in Australia today, Maxi?
It's actually great. We've had a lot of rain at the moment, so a lot of, especially sort of New South Wales and sort of Queensland areas have been underwater. So we've had a lot of floods.
Oh dear.
I know, it's been really horrible, really, really horrible. But today is a glorious day. The sun shines out. It's fabulous. And I can basically feel the whole of Australia that's had rain for 2 weeks or almost close to a month, all putting their washing on.
Well, I'm glad you're dried out.
Well, I'm glad. I hope you guys get more sunny days ahead.
Fingers crossed.
Well, let's get a proper intro going for Maxi. So before we
Yes,
get down to
please.
some questions, let's introduce our audience to Maxi Shield. Maxi Shield has been,
If they don't know already.
well, it goes without saying. Maxi Shield has been a drag artist for 23 years in Australia, noted for her work with the community, including Drag Storytime, where drag artists read stories to children. It helps engage them in fun and creative ways, and she conveys the overall message of inclusion, which is so important right now. Maxi won the Entertainer of the Year at the Drag Industry Variety Awards in 2015 and has been named, in 2015, he was named Madonna's national hostess for Australian Rebel Heart Tour, which we'll get to, and you've closed both straight Olympics and the Gay Olympics. And you're also, this is where I know you from, part of the first season of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under, which was such a laugh. I loved it and loved getting to know you there. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. And I have to say, though, that's a little old, that one. It's 25 years. And that's not to age me, but oh my goodness gracious me, 25
That's
years
an amazing
of drag.
anniversary.
Welcome to Botox.
Well, first things first. Before we get to Madonna, let's talk about the origin of your drag name and, the origin of your drag career. So tell us a little bit about that.
I grew up in sort of a small country town and with a very big family. And we always had a dress-up box. And it seemed that sort of my brothers and sisters would, dress up as all these fabulous characters, but mine were always lent to the female side. So, I'd be a teacher, but I'd be like the headmistress.
Nice.
And my sisters and brothers would be like dancers, but like I'd be like a sexy stripper dancer. So I think Mum would have been more shocked if I said, "Mum, I'm getting married to a girl." So that's sort of where sort of drag and just loving the dress-up box. And then slowly but surely, I think for my year 12 concert, so at high school in Australia, you go to year 12, and then you go to sort of university that we have here.
We've watched Summer Heights High. We know the pecking order.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty exact, that one. So for my year 12 concert, which, traditionally a boy does drag, and everyone thinks it's crazy back in 1992. And I did Like a Virgin in a pair of black and white swimmers that a friend of mine, Prue Gibson, loaned me, some cardboard cone tits, I think a white clown wig, and brought the house down. And
so you were doing the Like a Virgin from Blunt Ambition, right?
Yes. So I think it was round about Truth or Dare, which I was watching constantly. And that was actually a funny story because I ordered the sex book, and the bookshop rang, our landline, and said to my mum, "Oh, your son's copy of Madonna's sex book is in." And mum, a country woman, was like, "I don't know what's going to happen. Next thing you're just gonna change and you're just gonna dress up as Madonna and live as Madonna." And I was like, "Yes, too late, mum. I've started already, mum. Sorry." So yeah, that was sort of the start of it. That sort of snowballed, and here I am getting paid for it.
And when did you give yourself the moniker of Maxi Shield? Because I know you had to switch things around a bit, right?
Yeah, so I actually lived with a friend of mine, a lesbian friend of mine, for many years, and we gave each other our drag names. And I gave her Mr. Wayne King. So she was a drag king that only did country and western songs, which was quite funny. And she gave me Maxi Pad. And I thought, that is just so common. Come on. We're going to have to shield
plain,
it up.
Right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I took Maxi Pad as my maiden name and Maxi Shield as my married name. So married to my career.
So when did you first discover Madonna? It must have been before you put on that show. You didn't just say I'm going to do a Madonna act. I mean, that had to have been ingrained in you, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm old enough to from the start, your borderlines and what have you. But I really sort of fell in love with her was definitely Truth or Dare. As a young gay boy in a country town and seeing a movie like that was just, I just felt sort of there was something that was right about it. And she was telling the story and being a gay person, a creative gay person, it was all okay, and that it was fabulous, and it just that sort of spoke to me a bit more. And then
you saw yourself represented on screen
a little bit, yes, definitely, and I did like how powerful she was. My family is very crazy, sort of. It's a blended family, and it was always the women that were the strongest in our families, and they sort of looked after a lot of my brothers and sisters. So seeing that strong female presence on screen was just so fabulous to me. And I love her music. Her music's bloody great, isn't it?
Yeah, no, and Maxi, what I was going to say too is that right around that time, you guys got something that we didn't get, and that was the Girly Show. Did you get to go see that in Australia?
Well, see, this is crazy. This is I always joke that I've got some gypsy powers because
she's a witch.
A girl and I went to school with, Rebecca Parsons. So I lived in I went to high school in a small sort of coastal-esque town called Nowra in South New South Wales, just south of Sydney. So we had to camp out for 2 days to get Girly Show tickets. And both our parents thought it was the funniest thing ever. No one did this in Nowra. It's 1990-something and no one camped out for tickets. This is ridiculous. So we sort of sat out for 2 days. We slept over in sleeping bags outside and, as the line...
You got to meet other Madonna fans too.
Well, exactly. And it was just so silly. And we ended up going to... because there was a mix-up, or there was rain. So the first concert ended up being the third concert in Sydney. And so we ended up going to 2 of those. And, and then when the pole dancer came down, we thought it was Madonna when it first started. So we were like crying. And it was, teenagers seeing such a concert like the Girly Show was just crazy. I think Rebecca broke out in hives. She was so excited. And
oh, geez.
Blah, blah, blah. And then I hadn't seen Rebecca for 2 decades, maybe 2 decades.
Wow.
And then fast forward, I know we'll speak about it later, but fast forward to Rebel Heart. And
We're
I
getting there. We're getting there.
I got off the stage after having my shot in the banana, and I walked into Rebecca Parsons
Aww.
that I hadn't seen for 20 years. And she was like, oh my God, did that just happen? And I was like, oh my God, it's Rebecca Parsons. Oh my God. Rebecca Parsons has got this incredibly red curly hair. So it was just incredible. That night was just absolutely incredible. And it was a full circle, you know, sleeping in the yuckiness of the footpath of Nowra to Rebel Heart, which was crazy.
Wow. Well, so thank you for bringing up Rebel Heart. I was going to bring it up as well. Like myself, you too were an unapologetic bitch for Madonna's. Actually, you were an unapologetic bitch for Madonna's very last Rebel Heart show in Australia, correct?
I was the last one, yeah.
So I danced with her on stage in 2015, I think well before she went to Australia. It was, as you said, an amazing moment. Tell us about, because I've spoken about my experience ad nauseum on this show. Tell us about your experience. What was it like being on stage with Madonna?
Yeah, and start with, how did it all come to fruition? I mean, how were you chosen?
Well, it was crazy because I've got a friend that works with Live Nation, who was the touring company that was doing it, the Australian bit, and when I put my makeup on, I usually have my computer on iTunes and it just shuffles through music and what have you. And he said, look, you know, there's this opportunity maybe to be a hostess of like a VIP pre-party of a concert. Would you be interested? And he wouldn't tell me who the person would be, but every time he messaged or called, a Madonna song would come on. This is my gypsy powers again. I don't know. Watch out, guys. And it got to like the third or the fourth time, and I was like, is it Madonna? And he goes, I can't say anything. Let's just say their name starts with M. So I was like...
When they don't say their name, it's always Madonna, right?
Yeah. And I literally said to him, whatever you want. And he was like, oh, okay, so we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, whatever you want. You tell me what you want, and I will do whatever you want me to do. So, and then it sort of came about, and there was talk that I was going to get on stage on one of the Brisbane concerts, but it ended up there was a 17-year-old model that sort of went on stage, and I sort of thought that my chance was sort of all over. Because I was lucky enough to meet Guy and Sarah at the VIP parties quite a few times. And every time I saw them, I thought, you know what, this is my one and only opportunity. I'd be a great unapologetic bitch, wouldn't I? Wouldn't I, Guy? Sarah, I would be, wouldn't I? It would be just so good, wouldn't it? Come on. And it came to the last concert, and I was lucky enough to go to all the concerts, which was amazing. I was a seat filler. And the last one was basically in the nosebleed seats. And my friend said, I think they're going to choose you. Have your phone on. If I text you, then you need to run to where we had our party. I said, okay. He goes, which seat are you? And I said, oh, I think I'm at door 86. And he was like, oh, my God. How are you going to run all the way there? And I said, don't worry, I will do it. And basically checked my phone every 3 seconds as my phone charge went down to 7%.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, my God. And then it was just this panic. And then he said, get to the door now, run. And which I sort of pushed past all these gay boys. And the end gay boy was like, what are you doing? And I just grabbed his hand and I squeezed it as hard as I could. And I just said, cross your fingers, just cross your fingers. And I just took off. So I ran down. I think Guy was looking because they were a bit worried that my big boobs were going to get them into trouble. And then they sort of came back and they said, look, you'll probably be on the DVD. Make it work. And I was like, yeah, no problem at all. So they were worried about your boobs because the 17-year-old, her boobs popped out of her corset.
Oh, yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes, we heard.
Said to Sarah, I said, you know I'm 40. She goes, yes, I do know that. And then it was sort of a go, and I was over next to one of the stage managers, and I was sort of turning inside out with excitement, trying to keep it all internalized. And he literally was like this: when you walk through, you go up, they'll grab you, and then you'll go through. And I was like, ah! He said, no, listen again. This is sort of monotone. I was like, okay, maybe it's not exciting for you, but yeah. So then it was, then it's just a million miles an hour, trying to keep yourself semi-decent. And I one thing was, as a performer, I was sort of, when you're standing up there and, Madonna's holding your hand, which is just the most ridiculous experience ever. I sort of looked at her and, she'd been sweating. She'd basically worked her ass off for 2 and something hours. Her eyelashes were a little bit funny. And I thought, she does not give a fuck about any of this criticism. She's only here to do a great job. She's only here to put on a fabulous show. And it was like, as a performer, I was like, this is what we need to learn. Don't listen to everyone else. Just put on a great show.
It's so true. And I got to say, I was extremely impressed that you attempted the famous Madonna deep knee squats during your dance solo. I was like, come on, God, gotta give it to her.
That's never going to happen ever again. I've got old
it's not going to happen
now.
again for Madonna either. So
It probably isn't it? Oh no, she's half bionic now, isn't she?
True. She probably could do it.
Yeah, but
I was impressed though, because when I got to my solo section, I thought maybe I should do the deep knee squats just like Madonna. And I thought, no, Stefan, do not do the deep knee squats because you are going to fall on your ass. And you did it like a pro. I was like, oh, she's got it. She knows what's going on. So I have a question for you, because when I was Unapologetic Bitch, they were still giving out real bananas at the time. By the time she got to you, they had replaced the real bananas with those rhinestone, the rhinestone banana flasks.
Oh.
So I'm curious,
nice.
What was actually inside? What beverage was inside those flasks? Oh, look at it. It's gorgeous.
It was supposed to be tequila. And
Did it taste like tequila?
Can I? No, it was juice.
Oh, okay. I was always curious because I stopped drinking years before I had gone on stage, and I thought, oh my God, if they had given me the flask and there was booze in there, I wouldn't have wanted to drink the booze. But I was like, I would have had to drink it because Madonna was standing there wanting me to drink it. So,
well, that's the same with me. I haven't drunk for about 15 years. And it was one of those things that was like, if it's tequila is a no. When I used to drink, I couldn't drink tequila full stop. And I just thought, oh my God, if that is full of tequila, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to spit it out. But,
right.
In Madonna's face.
Lucky you got to be on the DVD. You had a wonderful exchange.
Oh no, I was the fabulous thing was that I was thanked twice. So if you see in the thank yous at the bottom, it says Chris Elliott and Maxi Shield.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, okay, I'll take that, definitely.
So, I mean, it's fair to say that whenever Madonna comes to Australia, it's like a big event, and, she's there for a while because you can't just pop into Australia for the evening,
No.
So, and you were, the hostess of the Rebel Heart show while in Australia. So how busy were you that week? I mean, were you just pulling your wig off your head, like what do I do now? What do I do next?
Well, it was funny because I had actually commitments in Sydney, so I actually was doing. So the first concert was 2 concerts were down in Melbourne, which I did, and then I actually had to come up and work 3 days in Sydney. So I was basically performing and then doing Madonna concerts, and then coming back and performing, and the craziness was that I was with these other drag queens, and I'm like, this is amazing. This is crazy. And they were like, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah, sure. I think one of them said, "Oh, yeah, I don't really like Madonna, but congratulations." It's like, oh, you bitch.
Yeah, but what's really going on is that you're like running on adrenaline, and they're just like another day, you know?
Exactly. And it was. I always, as crazy as sort of everything was, I just went back to that first thing that I said to my friend, and I said, whatever they want, I will do. Whatever, like, it was 23 years that she hadn't been to Australia, and
Right.
Yeah.
it was like, you know what, whatever, whatever she wants, just tell me and I'll do it.
And like Tony said, so Madonna infamously doesn't visit Australia very often. What other tours, if any, have you been able to see? Have you seen Madonna at all live other than Girly Show and Rebel Heart Tour?
No, I haven't. And a lot of the Australian super fans, they actually fly around the world. So they're there. They go to pretty much all the concerts. But no, I haven't had the opportunity. With drag in Australia, you're sort of the first sort of large chunk of your career, you need to just work. So, you know, holidays and trips sort of don't factor into your sort of career building.
Sure.
So I missed out on quite a lot of things. So, but now opportunities there, and, you know, surely she's got another concert in her.
Yeah, I think so.
Hopefully.
So yeah, it's been mentioned on our show, and you know, plenty of evidence online confirming that Molly Meldrum, who's an Australian talk show host, that he was pretty much responsible for introducing and popularizing Madonna to the Australian public in the 80s. Is that where you first heard Madonna's music? And give us your impressions of Molly Meldrum's show, and if there was any influence, you know, as you grew up, you know, because he's also openly gay, and you know, he not only introduced Madonna, but a lot of pop acts that probably otherwise would have run under the radar, right?
Yes. So his show used to be, I think it was on Sundays. It was called Countdown. And, you know, he famously interviewed Prince Charles, and he became sort of this, it was one of those things. And I think I was just, at the start, I was just a little bit too young, because, you know, I vaguely remember seeing bits and pieces of Countdown, but it was, I think I was just a little bit too young to be watching it, because, you know, it was very cutting edge for back then as well. You know, there was a bit of swearing on there, and you know, for a young kid and impressionable like I was. But Molly is is so incredible. He's definitely part of the family, but that's not what he's known for. He's known for having these incredible interviews with these pop stars, but able to sort of chat to them on a personal level, rather than sort of soak up their stardom. And I vaguely remember a few of his interviews where it was like he was talking to a mate, just to a friend,
Right.
and there's sort of these mega stars that are there. So I vaguely remember Madonna being on Countdown, but not that much.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to Google the videos, because it's one of those rare instances where Madonna really likes him, and she laughs at his jokes, and she's like, you know, she's like flirting back, you know, and it's a big contrast from, like, you know, Madonna, who's so defensive in interviews in her later career, you know. So it's always fun to see her just kind of let her guard down and just, you know, laugh with him. I mean, there was that one episode where she's screaming "Merry Christmas, Australia." She did it like 20 times. I don't know. It's one of my favorites.
Because there was because he actually had a terrible accident where he fell off his roof or something a few years ago. So there was rumors that he wouldn't be at her concert. And there's a great sort of interaction when she's on stage at Rebel Heart, and she's sort of chatting to him, saying, you know, I love you. I think you're incredible. You know, Molly Meldrum, that sort of thing, which is really touching.
I love that. Yeah, I love that a lot.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm surprised that her team wouldn't have found a way for Molly to interview Madonna when she came back for Rebel Heart Tour.
She's very busy.
I think she was saying that I heard somewhere that she wasn't doing any media because they were like, well, this is the last of the tour, so I don't need to do any media.
Sorry, when she was in Australia, she was also being sort of not treated very well by the Australian press when she was there that time, right?
No, they were awful to her.
Because that was when she was having the fallout with Rocco, right?
I think so, yeah. And the concerts were running late, which was hilarious because a lot of a few of the gay boys were like, this is ridiculous. They're late. She's late. And I'm like, I've seen
We're
you
always late.
Yeah, I've seen you tumble out of a nightclub at 7 a.m. and then go straight to work after washing in a sink. So sit down, bitch. She hasn't been here for over 2 decades. Sit down.
No, I was going to say, this reminds me, though, that there were also the Tears of a Clown shows. Did you get to go to those as well?
No, I didn't get to go there because that was actually in Melbourne.
Uh-huh.
So I was
and those
trying
were really late at night.
Yeah, that was a long one, that one.
Well, so now I have a question for you. You have a tattoo of Madonna. It's a cartoon Nikki Finn from Who's That Girl? Is that on your leg, right?
Yeah, I've got 3. So I've got one on my thigh, and then
I was gonna say if you had other ones or not. I didn't know.
Well, one on my thigh, which is the Who's That Girl cartoon, and then I've got the double one on my legs, just at I don't even know, shins. I guess shin is the best explanation. So I wanted one of those because I'm not one of the crazy hardcore fans. I do love Madonna, but it's not going to. I wanted something that signified my experience with the concert and meeting her and just showing everyone how incredible I think this woman is. But at the same time, I didn't want like a portrait of Madonna. So I wanted something that if you were in the know, you knew. But if you didn't, you were like, oh, those cartoons are cute.
No, you're right. I love the more symbolic tattoos. And that's one of my favorite things when I go to a Madonna concert, is seeing all the fans with their tattoos. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to do a book of, like a photo book of fans' tattoos. But that
exists. Madonna Tattoos, the Instagram account Madonna Tattoos, I think she published a Madonna tattoo book.
Well, I'm going to have to get it because I obviously like to talk about it.
Fabulous. Yeah, I loved those caricatures from Who's That Girl. I thought they were so cute.
Oh, so adorable. It's it's like I wanted a Nikki Finn cartoon show after that.
Wasn't there talk that was going to happen, or there was something happening, or
they thought that the movie was going to be a big hit and they were ready to start licensing, and then after the first weekend they decided not to do anything else.
I love that movie. I just bought it.
Maxi, has Madonna influenced any of your drag art or performance?
I do Like a Prayer, which is sort of from Rebel Heart Live that I've sort of edited. Sometimes she does like to get the audience to sing, and there's some of them sound like I'm singing, so we had to take those couple of pieces out. But yeah, I did that when I was in Manila with Sasha Velour, and I think there was like 5,000 Filipino drag race fans all there, and I did that, and it was like going to church. It was absolutely incredible. And I went out the back and Sasha was like, are these fans just mental? And I was like, yes, they are. And it was one of those things that, Like a Prayer is so, as soon as you put Like a Prayer on, it's one of those songs that the audience straight away get into. And, at my advancing years, I'm all about sing-along. And Like a Prayer is such a sing-along song, and it just makes you feel good. So, yeah, that's my number one Madonna song that I like to perform.
Well, let's talk about Drag Race, because you were part of the historic first season of Drag Race Down Under. I love it. I'm watching season 2, but I love Drag Race and Drag Race Down Under. I was like, finally, we get to see some Australian queens, because they are the dirtiest mouths I've ever heard in my life. I mean, and you guys were so funny, but you're also so talented, and everyone did so well for themselves. I mean, everyone came from different places. What was it like to go into that in the middle of COVID? I mean, because everything had to be, I guess, a little bit measured down from what the original production was going to be like. And what was that like for you, the whole experience?
Well, see, there was rumours for about 2 years that Drag Race Australia was going to happen. And, I think that the next level, so you've got your crazy Madonna fans, but then you've got your crazy Drag Race fans, and they are just next level. And they always make you feel really, wanted by releasing wish lists of the cast. And so, when the rumours first started, I think wish lists were flying left, right and centre on social media basically every hour or two, and I was never on them. So when I was sort of approached, I was like, oh, are you sure? Are you sure? So, it was sort of very surreal. And I'm lucky enough to have this very grounded partner who was like, shut up, do it, you're doing it. I was like, of course I'm doing it. No, hurry up, get onto it. So, so once it sort of started happening, it was from the yes to when I was eliminated, I guess, was like one of those spaceships that take off in Star Wars and the lights just keep going past you. Literally like that. It was just fast forward everything. And then the Aussie girls, we had to quarantine in New Zealand for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was shot in New Zealand, correct?
Yeah, in Auckland. Yeah. And then filming was pushed back by another 5 days. So we were in isolation for another 5 days. We were allowed to go out an hour a day with a chaperone.
Oh, my God.
And I've just finished working with Kidamine, who won my season. And that was one of the jokes that I would say is, they asked me if it was fair between the Australian and the New Zealand queens, and it was so fair. The Aussie queens had to quarantine for 2 weeks. We were in isolation for 5 days, and the New Zealand queens had to find a park the day before. I was like, oh, and that was literally it. So, yeah, it was stressful. It was fabulous. It was exciting. It was hard. It was all those people that say that Drag Race is the Olympics of drag. They're not. They're not lying. It is bloody hard, and but at the same time, fabulous. So
sure,
yeah. I have a couple questions about it. So I feel like you left too soon. Like compared to dancing on stage with Madonna, how stressful is the lip sync and how, you're given the, the song to learn, but how can you prepare for something like that? Because it's got to all come out when you jump on stage, right?
Yes, very much. And, you get your songs up to 2 days before, sometimes the day before.
See, I thought they gave it to you like an hour before.
No. So you've still got a day, but you've got to remember that we're up at 6:30 in the morning, and then we're back at the hotel probably about 11 at night.
Wow,
hell no.
so there's sort of not much sort of time to learn a song, and like I was okay with most songs. Some of the RuPaul songs where there's a lot of rap in it, it's like I don't listen to that genre.
Yeah.
I know Supermodel, but that's about it. So, you would find yourself I would find myself on the floor in the hotel room, with whatever dinner we'd ordered, a pizza or what have you, literally with the iPod earpiece in my ear constantly, just constantly listening. So, and then as you said, you get on stage and it's your turn to lip sync, and it's okay, let's go.
You got to bring it. You just got to make sure you shine.
I think hindsight, international all stars, of course.
Yes.
I think it's just being comfortable in yourself and knowing that you're going to be okay, whether or not you're eliminated or not, and then you'll shine. That worry about I'm going to be eliminated, I can't do this, really sometimes hinders you because you're worrying about that. Yeah. Sorry, my first lip sync was against Etc. and she's 22. I was 46 back then. 46. 22. So, yeah, she can still do those knee pops. I can't do those anymore.
Right. Yeah, there's a difference
only
between
a very small window for that.
Yeah, there's a difference between youth and middle age. Like, you know, we try as we might, we just can't move quite as fast as we used to.
We need a longer run up. We need a longer run up.
So, Maxi, did you guys get any heads up before the Minogue sisters showed up, and what was that like? Because I know that's a huge deal to anyone in the world, but mostly to Australians. And
that was all Skyped in. So they weren't there in person because of COVID restrictions, and you know, to come to New Zealand to be in person, they would have had to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Right, just not worth it.
Yeah, it's just too crazy. But when Danny Skyped in, it was quite funny because I think it was when I did absolutely everybody. And so it was just before that. So we were all around and we were so stressed out that sort of all of a sudden Danny pops up. Hi, it's Danny Minogue. And we were all like, oh. But she was, you know what, I've after the fact, I've actually messaged her and chatted to her quite a bit. And, she was, I sort of said to her, oh, look, thank you. You're actually what we needed. We didn't know we needed you till we chatted to you for, 15 minutes, that we sort of to settle our minds and let us go forward. But yeah, she's so lovely. So lovely.
Yeah, she's great. She's so genuine, and I love Danny to death. I just remember when that show aired and gay Twitter exploded because they're like, 2 seconds? We deserve more from the Minogue sisters, you know?
I know.
But I mean, that's just a product of COVID. I mean, that's what I mean. It's like, I hope that future seasons of Down Under are just bigger and better because that's how Australia is, right? You guys have to be as over the top as possible.
And like, quite a few people were like, I can't believe they weren't there, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, she's just come from London, Kylie, and she's done 2 weeks quarantine in Australia. And then you need to do another 2 weeks quarantine in New Zealand. And then she's got to go back to London, so she'll do another 2 weeks there. So she's got 6 weeks of quarantine. Like, I want to meet Kylie, but come on. Yeah. Come on, leave the poor girl alone.
Right. They're not paying her that much.
No, exactly.
It shows you just how dedicated Danny and Kylie are to their gay fans and their Australian fans. I mean,
they understand the audience. They know what's important. They know who they're reaching.
Yeah, totally.
So, Maxi, you met RuPaul and Michelle Visage prior to being on Down Under 10 or so years ago when they toured Australia. What was that like? And did you bond with Ru and Michelle Visage over your mutual love of Madonna? Did it come up?
Well, I didn't. I hosted something that RuPaul did over at Mardi Gras quite a few years ago, but she was performing, so it wasn't like we were sitting around the canteen having a sausage roll and a chat.
Everyone was working.
Yeah. So she was in work mode. That's the one thing that Madonna and RuPaul are very similar. They're in work mode, and a couple of times at the VIP parties, someone was like, I'll give you money to meet Madonna. I'll give you this to meet Madonna, and I was like, no one meets Madonna. Like,
no.
She's at work. She's working. Like, you don't meet Madonna. And I think one of the last interactions with someone on the last concert, I was like, no one meets Madonna. And I was like screaming at this person. And then 2.5 hours later, I met Madonna. But but RuPaul's very similar. We had great interactions when we were filming, when the cameras were cut and they were moving the lights, and she was like, have you heard the new Kylie album? It's incredible. Do you love this song? Do you love that? And we were chatting just very informally, just as a group of drag queens. But, as soon as the lights and the cameras go, she's in work mode because, it's her name on the – and that was exactly the same as the concert. But I did get to meet Michelle and work with her at a nightclub in Sydney called Arc Nightclub. And we got to chat quite a bit, which was lovely. And Michelle is such the mama bear of the show. And yeah, and she's sort of everything she says, like, because it's such a pressure cooker, the whole lot, that she says, okay, now we've got to talk about, your black bra. And you look down and you go, shit, yep, that's my black bra. And everything she says is so valid. You're like, she's not just being, a nasty person for the sake of being a nasty person. She will say, oh, this dress needs to be elevated. And you sort of go, you're right.
Right.
Everything. Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah. I don't understand why I didn't do that. So that was great. I didn't chat to her about Madonna, I guess because everything was so fast forward. But there was a couple of times that my Madonna tattoos would have shown. So, and she's another one. We have sort of exchanged messages on Instagram quite a bit. And she still does shout outs and, she's a lovely person, a lovely person.
Yeah, we'd love to get her on the show. She's just super busy.
Yeah.
I'm so curious, since you brought it up, but tell us a little bit about your tour with Sasha Velour. I mean, she's a superstar, and it sounds like you guys filled a huge arena in the Philippines, right?
Oh, it was crazy. And I only got to chat with Sasha and her husband. Oh, goodness, now I can't remember his name. But when we were in the dressing room, but it was just, they worked as a well-oiled machine. So sort of they walked in and her husband did the screens and the videos and the music and the audio. And sort of Sasha was chatting to all the local girls and, Sasha was finishing up her set and her partner was folding and packing her suitcases. And, it was just, they worked so well together and she's just so sweet, so fabulous and kooky as well, which is what I think everyone loves about her is that she's this kooky entertainer that you're not quite sure what's going to happen, but it's so polished that whatever ride she takes you on is going to be fabulous.
Yeah, she's a fashion icon. I mean, look at her in the Met Ball and walking runways in Paris and Milan. I mean, it's great. And then and then she turns it around and she's a comedy queen, right?
Yeah, exactly. And rose petals are iconic.
Oh, so good. I have a quick question about the pit crew. So I actually know Max Curry.
Yeah.
And I actually worked virtually with Sean Walters, who were both on season 1 of Drag Race Down Under. Do you get to canoodle with the pit crew at all? What's the relationship with the drag queens and the pit crew?
Absolutely nothing. Unfortunately.
Just like the viewers.
We got to, well, it was quite funny because it was I think it's What You're Packin' was when the Speedos, they had the stuffed animals in it.
Yes.
And, it was edited. There's an extra bit on WOW that was edited and it made it look like, it was an even playing field. But the tea is I beat those other bitches by 10 points. Yeah. And I think I got 17 and everyone else got 9 or 8 or something. And RuPaul's like, oh, my God, you're so good. I was like, 25 years of hosting bloody well trivias around Sydney. Of course I'm going to get these right. But there was a young guy, Sergio, at the end. And he kept looking at me and I was like, oh, my God, do I know him? Is he nervous? Blah, blah, blah. So when I actually left, it turned out I'd met him in Sydney years and years ago, but he wasn't quite sure who I was because I was out of drag. So I knew Sergio, but, they were so handsome, weren't they?
Oh, okay, I have to ask you because you played Magda Szubanski, who, if you guys don't know, she's like a comedy icon in Australia. She was in Kath and Kim. I think she had her own show. But anyway, yeah, long story short, here's the question. I mean, why is Australia so camp? And why are you guys like so into like this sensibility, like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Peter Allen, the Minogue sisters, ABBA. I mean, look at Chris Lilly, Kath and Kim, Muriel.
Right?
Like Magda, especially Magda and the Kath and Kim girls. They were also in a show. I think you can YouTube it, called Big Girls Blouse, which is these three strong female comedians, which is what I'm drawn to. And Magda's sort of this plus size, very funny, very smart, up until a few years ago, now part of the family. Yes.
Good on you, Magda.
She's out and proud. And I just thought that, maybe I saw myself in her. And she was just, I wanted to play an Aussie character on Snatch Game. And I knew that quite a few of the American audiences wouldn't know who she was, because
they only know her
as Sharon.
They only know her in America from Babe, actually.
Oh, really?
They're Talking Pig. Yeah.
Yeah, they're Talking Pig. And Sharon from Kath and Kim. But, I think our comedy, going back to your question, comes from that we know those type of characters. Yes. The Muriels we know, the Kath Day Nights, and, the Kims, we know them. The Sharons, we know them. And that's where our sort of genuine, heartfelt comedy comes from, is those characters that, we grew up with, the Lushes, the Bogans, that sort of thing. So, yeah.
No, I was going to say, like, one of the things that I loved about you is that you came out on the runway in this outfit that was inspired by Picnic at Hanging Rock. And I was, like, dying. And I was like, that is such a specific reference. I mean, it's like... Bravo.
And Sheila's of the Bush. It's something that I grew up with. Yeah. And that's what I kept saying to Michelle and RuPaul, because they were like, you've just got this, auntie character that you do. And I was like, I'm older. I am older, and that's not a bad thing. And but I'm not going to dress, I want to believe in the person that, the character that I'm going for. And that older auntie that sits on a cruise ship smoking Alpine cigarettes, playing poker machines, is something that I've grown up with. And
like, I know that woman.
I know that woman. It's my auntie. So, I was always going to do those type of characters. And, Picnic at Hanging Rock, I grew up watching it thinking it was this terrifying movie of these girls getting lost and people screaming around.
But look at those beautiful dresses, though.
Right. Look at those beautiful dresses. So that's why awesome. I sort of stuck with those type of characters and tried to, because it is down under. So I wanted to try and stay with Aussie, New Zealand references and make the international audiences Googlers.
Sure.
I know it's hard sometimes, but there was a couple of people that was like, Magda's someone I don't know. I don't really want to be educated. I was like, okay, well, you miss out then. You miss out.
Yeah. And also, RuPaul sees these things, so it's like, oh, look, RuPaul knows about Australia. He's married to an Australian. So it's like, you got to come prepared. I totally get it. Okay, Stefan, I think it's time for my favorite part of the show.
All right, hopefully my Wi-Fi will work and you'll be able to hear everything that I say.
Crystal clear.
All right, every guest on our show gets a little something we like to call the lightning round. It's just meant to be quick off the top of your head, wherever you're at in your Madonna journey today. Don't think too hard. Favorite Madonna song?
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Open Your Heart.
Favorite Madonna music video?
I think, goodness, Rain.
Good one. Yeah. Favorite Madonna tour, and it can be either one that you were part of or one on video.
Blonde Ambition.
Nice. Favorite Madonna look, and that can be from a video, a tour, a photo shoot, in person.
I think the one where her boobs are out and she's pushing the pram, the Jean Paul Gaultier runway.
Yes.
I love that one. And I was hoping they were going to do a Madonna, 1,000 Madonnas, so I could do that one because I just thought that was heaven. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and you can do that with those
knockers.
That you guys wear.
Those knockers.
Oh God, Maxi, that was so much fun. We love that you took the time to talk to us. Actually from the future because it's tomorrow already in Australia. But we're just so happy that you're able to come and tell our audience about your Madonna experiences. Tell everyone where they can find you online and on social media.
I guess Instagram's the easiest, isn't it? Maxi Shield. Is my Instagram. So join me there. I'm over in America, in LA though, in May for DragCon. So
that's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, let us know the dates, and we'll put it on our Instagram, so everybody will look forward to that. Because I know a lot of people are going to DragCon this year. It's the first.
I'm sure everyone's back.
COVID,
they can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be mental. It's going to be absolutely mental. And we're doing a panel. The Aussie girls are doing a panel. So I think we might have to have an interpreter. But
Wait, Maxi, just wait. You guys are going to get so much love. Everyone in America loved Down Under. So just brace yourself.
Fabulous.
Okay?
I can't wait.
It's going to be amazing. And just remember, everybody, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at MLVC Podcast. You can please feel free to donate to the podcast on Venmo at MLVC Podcast, or think about becoming a subscriber on our Patreon account, patreon.podbean.com/MLVC Podcast. Tony, good to see you, as always.
Good to see both of you. And thanks to all of our listeners every week, every episode. We love you guys. Thank you.
Maxi, thanks so much. This is really great. I'm so happy that you came on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been fabulous.
Thanks. We'll see you next time.
Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for tonight's unapologetic bitch. What's your name, young lady?
My name is Maxi, Queen.
Excuse me?
My name is Maxi.
Maxi, come over here. Are you feeling a little out of breath?
Yes, a little bit, but very.
Your boobs are very heavy. Look heavy. Yeah. You dropped an earring. I'm surprised that's not the only thing you dropped. Can I help you put it back on? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just don't know where to look. I guess that's the point. Maxi, you're so Maxi. Wow. That's a whole lot of woman. You're not pregnant, are you? You're not breastfeeding. Are you breastfeeding?
I could be breastfeeding anytime you want.
Okay. That's good to know, Maxi. Anyways, are you from Australia? Are you from Sydney?
I'm from Sydney, yes.
Did you grow up here?
I didn't grow up here. No, I didn't.
Where did your breast grow up?
My breast grew up in...
Oh, yeah. A lot of breasts grow up in America. Yeah. Mine did too. In Detroit, Michigan. Yeah. Anyway, well, everybody knows that each unapologetic bitch gets a special prize, and you are no exception, Maxi. A special prize for you. And maybe me too. Which is, I think that after working so hard and doing so many shows and being so gosh darn late all the time, I deserve a special prize. What do you think? Do you think? Do you think I deserve a prize? And does Maxi deserve one too? Okay. Finally, 84 shows later, you're remembering. What do you got? Porno. How many are in there? Jesus. Wow. This should keep us tied over for a while. Look, 2 rhinestone covered bananas. You can stick one of those right inside of your little boobies. Look at that. They don't even drop. Oh my goodness, the things you do with those things, I can just imagine. Anyways, I think we should unscrew the top together. Yes. And now we should make a toast. And now, down the hatch, as they say. I can't keep up with her. Shit. I still have half of mine left. You seem very experienced with this sort of thing. You've sucked a lot of bananas, haven't you? Bananas, yeah, I know. I said banana. I have too, but I just do it slower. I like how you laugh at everything I say from now. I'm not done yet. I just can't. Good to the last drop. Oh my gosh, I think I'm drunk. This is the first drink I've had for a year. I swear to God. And it's your fault, Maxi. You've been a terrible influence. I put those things away. Okay, so come over here, Maxi. Get in the middle of the square. You've been a great sport. It's been lovely to meet you. What, did you want to say something?
You are fuck incredible!
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Your breasts are fucking incredible. Yes. Anyways, nice to meet you. Keish, do you want to help Maxi downstairs? I don't want her to hurt herself. Yeah, good job. Anyways, take her downstairs and show her where we make these fun bananas. Banana daiquiris, anyone?